I'm here today with an artist in Boca Raton. She's a teacher and a freelance artist, and she focuses on perspective drawing and city sketching. She has a background in interior design, and I found her when I was at an art show, and I saw her with her book that she wrote, and well, it's an illustration of her artwork. It's called Dear Diary, a pictorial essay of life during the COVID-19 pandemic. And it has really beautiful illustrations of each day during the pandemic. And we'll get to this later, but this is how I found her. And here she is. So welcome, Jen Fisher.
Hi, thank you.
Thank you for being here today. And you have a whole lifetime of art experience. So
I do, yes.
I want to hear all about it and how you knew you were an artist, what you're working on now, what your background is, and just everything in between.
Great. I'm happy to have somebody listen to me about that. Well, the introduction was perfect. I do have a interior design background with a BFA. And I worked in interior design for architectural firms for about 15 years in New York City. And it was a great career, but something was always missing. And I always found more pleasure in my presentation drawings and my sketches rather than the built product. So I knew at some point that I was going to transition out. I just didn't know when. And I think that, me starting a family and moving just helped me make that decision. But you mentioned when I knew that I've always been drawing, and I was that class artist like you talk about growing up. And I was looking for things to bring to you as far as things when I was younger. I couldn't find much, but I did find this, which I thought was kind of fun. Ooh. I know, right? It's old, sealed in a bag, brown, right? Old.
Looks very delicate.
Yeah. This was from those of you that grew up in New York, Newsday. This was from Kids Day, the kids version of Newsday, and a little illustration that I did when I was 10. That was printed on my birthday, November 10th, 1978, because my mom wrote it down there.
Oh, that's so neat. So we're looking at a clip of an old newspaper, Kids Day, and the illustration, it says illustration by Jennifer Strollo,
my
age 10.
Yeah.
Bayville. And it's two little ladybugs from the back. They're sitting on a branch, hugging. This is so sweet.
I still love ladybugs. I have one around my neck and one on my wrist.
Was there a prompt, or what made you?
I don't know.
You sent in your drawing.
I probably just sent in my drawing of ladybugs because I was probably always drawing ladybugs.
That's really good, especially for a 10-year-old.
Yeah, so I couldn't find anything, but I wanted to bring you something.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm sure everything is up in New York someplace at my mom's house. But yeah, so I was always that kid that was not really playing with dolls, but playing with crayons and markers and making a mess.
It looks very professional, actually.
Well, thank you.
It really does.
For my 10-year-old self. My 10-year-old self thanks you.
With the overlapping arm over the back, and
I'm pretty sure I copied it from something, but who knows? I don't remember.
Did that kind of give you some more confidence, or?
I don't really remember. It was just something that I just kept doing, and I knew I had to do. Like it was just part of me. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Even going into college, it was something I couldn't ignore. I knew it was going to be tough, especially to find a career that, could make me a living, but it was just something that if you have that, you can't ignore that.
Right.
Yeah.
No, absolutely.
And that's advice I give a lot of, because I teach a lot. I give a lot of my students that advice, said that you really have to figure out a way to incorporate it into your life, because you can't ignore it.
No,
because it's a gift, and not a lot of people have it.
And it'll keep nagging at you if you do ignore it.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
So what happened after you were 10?
Okay, so after I was 10, I forgot the rest of my life until no, I'm just kidding. I was that kid in the art room in high school and throughout college too. And then it was time to pick a major in college, and I was trying to pick something that maybe would, offer me some kind of secure career. So I picked design. And at that time, we didn't really have computers yet. We weren't learning on a computer. So everything was hand drafting and drawing. And even when I was in school, I like the presentation, the renderings, the perspective drawing, so much more than the building, the shop drawings. A lot of my design friends know that I would cry over those shop drawings when you'd have to, build windows and walls and section out furniture. Not for me, but the presentation drawings, yes. So I found some old drawings that I did, which was fun to look through. I don't know why they're on trace, but
oh, nice. So is this from college?
this is after college. College, I don't really have much from. This is from after college when I was in my first job. It's probably sometime in the 90s, but I brought them because you can see how, I think it's upside down.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, I see.
Yeah. I thought it's fun. It would be fun to show them because my art has come full circle. So this is where I started, never really thinking that I would continue this type of drawing forever.
So was this was for a job?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
What
It was a presentation drawing for a restaurant.
Oh, okay. So
I don't even remember what it was for or where. I just found, and I don't even know why it's on trace, but for some reason.
Can you tell us what a presentation drawing is exactly?
Yeah, so when you have a client and you're putting together a proposal for what they want, as far as commercial. I did mostly commercial design. Office spaces, restaurants, you talk it through with them and you come up with a schematic and you come up with a rough drawing of what their space will look like. And we would do big presentations in the rooms with finishes and drawings, and they would go through many, many, many renditions. But this is probably just a rough draft because it was on trace. It wasn't on a presentation board or anything. And there looks like I just did. Oh, here's another one. This is really old. This one says, it has a date on it, I think. I thought it had a date on it. Maybe it doesn't.
Oh, that looks like it's a photocopy of like a coloring book.
Yeah, this was
so
done.
perfect.
Yeah, I don't do that anymore. This was like, hard line, pen and ink on vellum.
So you have to have either a good imagination, right? Or I'm sure you looked at reference photos to look up.
Well, you're building it up from
Right.
a floor plan too. So yeah, you do have to have a good imagination and reference photos, and you're picking things and replicating them, but you're building it up from a floor plan.
That's amazing. And
presentation rendering.
So is this with colored pencil?
I think it was color pencil and marker, probably mostly color pencil because it's very pastel.
So you said that you got burned out because their hours were long.
Yeah.
So what did that look like? Were you up all night because you had a deadline?
Yes.
So it kind of in a way, I mean, the computers are
like yours.
Oh, that's beautiful. Deeper slots for applications, countertop for
it's probably like
equipment.
Yeah.
Oh, I like your handwriting. This is really nice. I mean,
we were trained to write like that. We had to
really?
write like that. Yeah.
What is it called?
I don't know. Architectural lettering. We had to write like that in design school.
Oh, wow.
Pages and pages like in kindergarten.
It's beautiful handwriting.
I don't really do it. Anyway.
That's so neat. So people don't do this job anymore, right? They have, I mean,
the computer does this job.
Amazing.
I mean, I don't know if they still have people at hand do them, but yeah, the computer does this job. Yeah, so which is sad because it's nice to have that artistic touch when you're giving a presentation and you're trying to communicate with a client. But I'm sure it works. It has to. I mean, they whip them out now and can turn them around and change them with the snap of fingers and push of a button.
I know there are people in the design field who would like to be able to just sketch their own design quickly.
Yeah.
Someone has contacted me about it.
Yeah, I was one of the, that was always being asked to, do a little thumbnail on a piece of trace and just hand it over, just show us what it's going to look like.
Right.
Okay. That kind of thing. So I never really thought that I would come back to that. but that's exactly where I am now, which is kind of weird.
So you're talking about how now you do a lot of perspective drawings.
Yeah. Yeah. I left design. I segued into an academic position where I worked at a design school in New York City, and I was a career and academic advisor, and I started teaching, and I like that. I think I just got burnt out in design, but it gave me this new job gave me the opportunity to experiment with different mediums, because I had like a normal day now. I was home at 5 or something like that. So I started dabbling in jewelry. And because I think I always had the need to design small and something more tangible. So I just started taking classes and honed my skills and started developing this line of jewelry, which was mostly architecturally inspired. And I have a bunch of pieces here for you.
I don't think we mentioned, but you are from New York City.
I am.
So the architecture kind of goes into where you're from. So you did a lot of architecture. Is this based on New York architecture?
No.
Just architecture. Okay.
No. Like you could see here, like I had these 3 lines when I started. First was the perforated line. You could see like I have these earrings, and I put them on these little cards with these perforations in it to just echo perforated metals that we would use in building.
Oh.
Yeah. And here,
maybe I could switch this.
Yeah, so I was still in New York, living in New York City, and I was working at the design school with a more reasonable work day. And I started, developing these lines, making jewelry architecturally inspired. It didn't always, it sort of transitioned out of that a little bit later, but that's how it started. And I started out with this perf line, which was, to resemble perforated metals. Here is actually, can you see this? This perforated ring, which was like one of my favorites, my first one. This one's actually in 14 karat. But what I wanted to show you, which I thought was kind of funny, is that I actually did plans for it. Because, when I was trying to market it into shops and things.
Yeah. Is this what they asked for?
No, it was just like this is what we would do in design school. These are like the blueprints, floor plans, and things like that. So, because the ring was architecturally inspired, I thought it would be a fun play on architecture and building the ring.
Very cool.
Yeah.
So can you tell me, I don't know anything about perforated metals in buildings.
It's decorative, but it's also for ventilation, it's just metal with holes in it. Mosaic line. Where I embedded stones in resin, and here I'm going to pull this over here to see what else is in here.
That's beautiful.
And I still make these because they're kind of timeless.
Where do you do your jewelry now?
Well, everything is cast, so I can do it out of my home. So I have all my molds in New York City, and then I just order the castings. They mail them down to me, and I finish them at my garage.
Oh, neat.
Yeah, I don't do them as much though, because like you, I've developed carpal tunnel, so it's hard to do a lot of jewelry. Yeah.
Jewelry amazes me because it's hard to get. I don't know how they get such small.
Some rings.
Beautiful.
Yeah, so it's just just another like I really had this need to make things that were small after working so large and on these large spaces. I really just wanted, I don't know if maybe I wanted to do sculpture. I don't know, but I just wanted really small things. So this worked out perfectly. Yeah. I get married. I have my first child, and he's reciting the alphabet constantly, and he's inspiring me to do something different. So I come up with this alphabet line.
Oh, I love this.
And at the time I would highlight them. I would sell them I was on a lot of mom blogs, and I would highlight them with their kids' names, but then it turned into more of a design element too.
Yeah. Is this, what material is
this? This is sterling. Yeah.
Beautiful.
And then I would do some custom things. These are my kids. I would do some custom pendants for people too with the names. Yeah.
And you don't do these anymore?
I do sometimes, not as much, but I do because I have the mold, so I can do it. I can if somebody wants one, I can make a nice time in my life to fit in things that to being a mom, that related to being a mom. And I like that I was really grateful that I could do that, because I think that it's hard, to keep yourself and keep your own interests when you're a mom. But if you can do something that relates to whatever you love and your passion while you're being a mom, that relates to being a mom, my gosh, it's very rewarding. And I still love these pieces. I love to touch them. I cast pasta. I had a lot of things with noodles too. I worked with rocks
Oh,
that,
that's beautiful.
yeah.
Where did the rocks come from?
These rocks came from the beaches in Positano, in Italy. I'm Italian, so they meant a lot to me. Very
Wow.
close to where I was born. I was born in Salerno, Italy.
How do you get the stones to stick?
Oh, that was quite a project. There are pegs. They're drilled, and there are 3 pegs. Oh, I just realized I pulled it out. There are 3 pegs coming out of the dish, and the stones are drilled, and they're placed in there. And these actually are all drilled on a specific angle and there's a wire going through the whole thing to bring it all around like this. This is, yeah. I have another one that I had laid out for about 15 years that I haven't put together yet because it was really hard to drill those stones.
Yeah. I was going to say, things that you think are simple are not.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I have a whole drawing to show exactly where they're drilled, like on the angle, going all the way around.
Oh my goodness.
Well, the rocks are so beautiful at the beach there. They're like, they're like eggs.
They just
They're
came
so,
like this?
they just came. I have some.
So you stopped making jewelry to a point? I mean,
So I hurt my wrist. I had a little child, and it was hard to make jewelry. So I started teaching. I moved to Florida with my new family, and I started teaching. And I started teaching mostly kids, and I started teaching art camp. And I was coming up with lessons. This is the first time I ever taught kids that age. And I was coming up with a bunch of lessons. And one of the lessons that I came up with was to paint with credit cards. And I decided that I like this. So I decided to start painting with credit cards. Old credit cards, key cards, whatever. Yeah. Because I really never painted before, especially with a brush. It's kind of scary. And I thought this whole scraping thing was fun. And it was all about proportion and geometric shapes and composition, which was kind of what I was used to. So I started painting, coming off of that project of teaching kids with credit card art. And that's kind of where I am now, sort of, but I bought some examples of one of my pictures that is done just with credit cards, and anybody from around here will recognize that building. That's the Cultural Council in West Palm Beach. Painted pink for the. It wasn't pink though, right? No, it was never. No, it was pink in my mind. Okay. But I called it Pretty in Pink.
That's beautiful.
Yeah, and it made it to the cover of their.
Oh, here it is.
Yeah, their 40th. Sorry, I said 50th and 40th.
Arts and Culture magazine. Wow, that's a beautiful cover.
Yeah.
I love this.
Yeah.
When was this?
2018, I think. Okay. Yeah.
Beautiful. It's so painterly, and you didn't even use a brush.
No brush.
Wow. That's no beautiful. Brush. So amazing. So an art lesson you came up for with kids.
Yeah.
Inspired you. Yeah. That you still do this.
Still.
That's so beautiful.
Yeah. Like when I make big paintings, which I'll show you, there are a lot of small watercolors, but there are a lot of big paintings. The big paintings are only with credit cards, but I do draw on them, which is what I'm going to bring out next. So then this is what I was saying before, that my education and my perspective drawing and everything came full circle, that I started drawing on top of everything. And this is a series called Neighbors. There's 12 of them. They all have little names, and they were all supposed to live nicely next door to each other, all happy. So the red one is called Ruby Rose. And which one is this one? Goldie. She's apartment 12C, and this one is apartment 12F. Yeah, they have like a whole story. Everybody had like a whole story because it was for an exhibition. And I had this series of 12, all these neighbors living next to each other, all different colors, all different shapes, sizes. I love this. Yeah. So all getting along. Right? Yes.
Oh, this is beautifully. I could see like your architectural touches on everything you do, like your handwriting.
Yeah, I guess I do still write like that, right? Use it right, exactly.
But so you transitioned into painting, but you still consider yourself more of like someone who draws.
I think so. Yeah, I don't call myself a painter.
Because you really?
Yeah.
These are beautiful.
I know. Well,
the color's nice.
somebody else can call me it, but I'm not going to call it.
Got it.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I know, but I just don't feel like I'm a painter.
Mhm.
I guess I'm just an artist because I do all these different things.
But so you seem to go back to drawing and architecture.
Yeah, because here,
With
then I'll go, I
Mhm.
have this other one. And I just wanted to bring one big one to show you. I do have a lot of big ones, but
Here. We'll stand back and I'll move the.
so then I would just, this is, I got a lot of inspiration from traveling. This is from a trip to Toulouse, France, and it's called Pink City, but I decided to make it a little more pink than it really was. So a lot of my paintings are like this. I go through a lot of white pens.
Mm.
Yeah.
Is that what this is?
Yeah.
You draw with
Yeah, just a Sharpie. I mean, I have a lot of different ones. These doorstep ones, I'm known for these staircases. Like it's a throwback to living in New York City and for so long. But yeah,
There is something interesting about those like stoops because
they're nice.
my grandparents had them and we just sit on them. It was fun. I don't know what about it.
My mother lived in Brooklyn. She sat on them. They just sit on them and they talk to each other. And I don't think anybody does that anymore, but
yeah,
they did. I can see them, I can see them doing that. They did.
used to go up to Brooklyn and my grandparents had a stoop and it was just fun. I don't know what it was. Maybe because we didn't have any stoops in Florida, but
right. And there were no electronic that was there. They were played in the street.
Yeah.
So the stoop was like a way for them to engage with neighbors and stuff.
Very cool. I love that.
So I like the stoop. Yeah.
I like
even though I didn't really do the stoop because I was in my 20s.
So now what do you do?
Now where am I? Right.
Book. Is this
right? So here we are. So now we're at COVID, and I am stuck at home, and I have my whole family's home. We get a puppy, and I can't paint like that at home because there's no room. So I start dabbling with watercolors and I start painting everything that's around me in the house because I'm not leaving. And I start having a real appreciation for everything in my home, and everything that's going on. And we've put together some sketches here. I started teaching online, but before that, I had just finished teaching at Old School Square in Delray, and our classes got canceled. And there was a bunch of students that I became friends with. So I just called them up and I said, hey, you guys want to meet on Skype and just draw once, an hour a day, just to keep it going, just to keep, human contact and do what we love. And we did that for a couple of months. And this segued into a class called Sip and Sketch at Old School Square when they went online. And we were just drawing everything, their pantry, their stovetop, I would have them, set up their nightstand, but it all had like a perspective lesson in it, so we were doing, pots and pans in the drawers, all that kind of stuff. It was actually really, really fun. But as I was teaching this class, I was doing my own, and I decided to put them into a book, and they're also part of the archives at the College of William and Mary in Williamsburg.
All of these?
Yeah, all of them. That's what prompted me to put it in the book too. Somebody had saw them and they're like, would you like to contribute to our archives of the coronavirus experiences? I said, okay, digital ones. Okay. So so here are some of them too.
These are beautiful. So here are the originals.
Yeah.
They're actually pretty small. This is from May 24th, 2020.
Oh, good. I put no dates on it. I usually don't do that.
This is so detailed, and it's for such a small piece of paper too. And so tell us, you said your daughter at the time got into baking.
She did, yes. She heavily got into baking, and she would bake every night. The house would smell like snickerdoodles all the time. It was wonderful. Okay. But there was always a mess, and I decided to document the mess. And have her remember.
Wow.
Yeah.
So you were learning watercolor during COVID?
Kind of. Yeah. I just, yeah. So this is a nice one because this was my Zoom class of Sip and Sketch.
They're all holding up whatever they're drinking.
Yeah. I told them because it was called Cafe Sip and Sketch, and we had coffee in the morning. And it's funny because I told two of the students, please hold your cups in front of your face because I don't draw faces. Only two of them listened, so I had to draw everybody else's face.
Oh my gosh.
But yeah,
Artists, what are you going to do?
yeah, exactly. We had a lot of fun in that class.
So what do they do when everyone just, the camera's on, but they're all just sketching on their own?
Yeah, well, we would go through each of their sketches individually
okay.
too, and I would help them map them out, plan them out perspective wise, tweak them on Zoom. And then I would do a demo, or maybe that day, like if we were doing pots and pans, I would do a demo on how to do chrome. This is the book ended with this one, with me throwing 2020 into the garbage.
I love that.
Yeah. Oh, this one I want to show too, because this is one of my favorites.
Poor 2020.
I know, poor
No,
2020.
seriously, it was like,
But I don't know. Are you a Hamilton fan?
yes.
Oh my gosh, I watched it so many times, and
That's
my
beautiful.
daughter and I are huge Hamilton fans. That was one of the last things that we did before we went into quarantine.
Wow. That's
And
beautiful.
so that was something I like to remember from that time. And then the book ended with throwing 2020 in the garbage, but then I added this one in because I got my second booster. So my sister who lives in New York would make fun of me and say I was getting my shots at the deli counter at Publix. So I just made this little play for her.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
Can
Yeah.
I even ask, how do you get a pen that small? What pen do you use?
Probably the one.
Micron?
Yeah. Yeah. So there's a whole book of those. It goes on and on and on and on and on. And because I started out by speaking with my relatives in Italy, because you know how everything was really bad in Italy beforehand, and I was very worried about them. And I was documenting a lot of their views outside. And I was, mentioned in the book that we were all in different places, but now we were all connected by this like blanket of uncertainty that we were looking at outside. No matter where we were, it was all the same.
Here's an outside view.
Yeah.
Amazon packages.
Yeah.
I have to show this one is beautiful, the toilet paper. This is
so
detailed. Is that like Costco or something?
That was just a Publix. Yeah.
Is this available for people to purchase?
It is. Yeah, it is. It's on my Etsy shop.
Okay.
Yeah. So you can find that through my Instagram.
I'll put the link on there for everybody. This is beautiful.
Yeah.
And I like this one too, the Corona hurricane.
Yeah. It's like as if we didn't have enough going on. We needed that on top of it. Yes. I tried to make some light of it because you know what? It was just the weirdest time.
It really was.
It's so weird.
These are beautiful. It's like your perspective background with but it's loosened up. It's not like your super exacting.
No,
I mean, it is
like those old drawings that I showed you. Yeah.
But you could tell, like, you definitely know what you're doing with your perspective. It's like,
that's what I always tell a lot of my students: make your lines consistently crooked. Don't use a ruler. And if you're going to use a ruler, don't use it all ruler or all not ruler.
Right.
Make them consistently crooked so it looks like it's all yours and it's all cohesive.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Beautiful. So then after you did this book and after COVID ended, what are you up to now?
So now I am, I'm pulling my things here for you just to show you a couple of different things. I still am working here. I'm going to show you if you want to flip through this. I still teach a lot and I do a lot of demos with my teaching, city sketching and perspective related things. And I have books and books and books filled of these drawings of demos that I do, or just things I'm just doing for fun. So I do a lot of this and it's all city inspired. It's mostly New York City. Every time I go to New York City to visit my family, I take like a day out and I go take really good pictures of 1 and 2 point perspective that I can properly teach with. And I record them in the book. So I have like a lot of books here about.
So tell us about this online sketching. You told me earlier, that's how I know. So you do New York City sketching online.
Yeah, but it's a private class for the retired teachers union in New York City, but I have done private ones too on my own. I'm just not doing them right now, but we just I put up a prompt, a picture, and we have some exercises. I do this 15-minute, 10-minute sketch to start the class. I call it the calisthenics of art class to warm us up, and that's what we're going to do later, hopefully. And they all put their own pictures up and I teach them how to, I'm obsessed with the bus lane. I have a lot of pictures of the bus lane. Teach them how to when they're out outdoors doing urban sketching to pick a view because they have the opportunity to pick their own view, pick something that works for them, identify if it's 1 or 2 point. We don't get too detailed because it's not a perspective class. I do teach a perspective class too, but this class, it just touches on it and helps them understand the concept.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, now I'm just letting the watercolors do their magic on their own. This is what I've been working on lately.
And there's not even a drawing on top of it. So
No.
that's a new thing.
Yeah, this is new.
Like.
Yeah. Well, I have this exercise I do with the class called color first, and we block out the composition with color first, and then we let it dry and then put the pen on. But I've decided I don't want to put the pen on right now. I'm just letting them go and watching them do their thing.
Yeah.
And that's what I've been doing lately.
Beautiful.
Yeah. And I just have a little bit, aside from the paintings, I do some abstract work on paper, which all comes from all those sketches. I just break them down into shapes and color.
Totally see the building and like the
road. Like there's a road, so here's one of my drawings that this is actually ended up being a big painting, but these for me are harder actually. Yeah, because I really have to think about the placement of the color. When do you stop? The other drawings are very therapeutic and they come naturally. But I like to do this. I like to challenge myself with them.
Well, yeah, making something more simple is harder.
Yeah.
Because you have to think about what's important. What do you keep?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of different styles here and a lot of different things going on, but it really is all the same subject, I guess.
It is. And I see like your influences from the credit card you're still using.
Yeah. Yeah, I will never use the brush on big paintings. I don't even have any.
Really?
So I have a new painting, which I don't have because it's big and it's hanging someplace, but I will get back to big paintings again, but that's it. So it's like half credit card, half drawing.
Wow. I love that.
Thanks.
That's
Venice.
Venice. Beautiful.
Yeah. So another thing is what I like to do is when I find a subject matter or a view or something that I like to exhaust it and draw it in a lot of different ways and paint it, illustrate it, watercolor, all different abstracts. So that view has been drawn many times.
And beautiful. So what are you going to focus on going forward? Like what are you doing now?
Well, I do. One thing I do a lot of building portraits. I don't have them because they're commissions, but for people that hire me to draw pictures of their homes
So this is back to your like more detailed style, kind of like your COVID book.
So I always love doing those because I find the watercolor technique and the foliage involved very challenging, and I get great satisfaction when they come out good.
Oh my God, these are beautiful.
Thank you.
What are the sizes, the original size?
9 by 12.
Okay.
Yeah, so they're small. So I'll be working on those like forever.
Wow. And you steadily get commissions
for
this?
Yeah, especially around this time for holidays. The technique is rewarding.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? Whereas they're not that creative because I'm actually copying a home, but to get it to look right but still painterly. Yeah. And to get the watercolors to do what I want them to do. And a lot of these homes are people I know. So I have a connection to it, where I grew up. And so it's really rewarding.
These are beautiful.
Yeah.
I love
so I'm going to concentrate on those and still teach and do my city sketching and my urban sketching and hopefully be able to do more large paintings.
Amazing.
Yeah.
And we're going to go draw. I'm going to follow Jen. We're going to go together and we're in the brick building, the Boca Raton Innovation Campus where my studio is. And it's the place where IBM computers used to have their headquarters, and they've added onto it. And there is a lot of perspective in here. We have the largest hallway, but I don't think we're going to draw that today. I think we're going to follow Jen and see what interests her. Cause I was curious to kind of just see, when she's drawing what she looks for in perspective drawings, and we're going to go draw together. So let's do it. Yeah. Okay. I'll be back. Bye. spot we chose, we're gonna draw the cafe. So here we go. We have 15 minutes. Jen set the timer. We have to draw and paint this scene with a pen, no erasing, in 15 minutes. Can we do it? Let's go.
If I tried, I would just go in here and define those shapes a little bit because they all ran into each other. But that's all I would do. I would just leave it. And of course, sign it.